Hello Giants fans, welcome to Giants Baseball 101. I'm Gabe Vaughn, your host. The Giants beat the Twins 4-3 today. Alex Cobb pitched 7 innings, allowed 3 runs, and Michael Conforto, just at the right moment, came through with the 2-run home run in the 7th to put the Giants ahead. Then Scott Alexander pitched a scoreless inning. Camilo Doval closed it out in the 9th with 3 strikeouts, and I'm just very happy to announce that the Giants have achieved equality in terms of wins and losses. They stand at 24-24. They just wouldn't die, and the hot streak just kept going. Now they're even at 24-24, and it's like they have a clean slate to start with now going forward, and just trying to bounce right back on top. But it was the home run again for the Giants, and they just have a well-rounded ability to hit homers. That's just an area for the Giants where you could really look at every team and say that they've got at least one slugger. Sometimes, though, that's just kind of beyond the point, and maybe this kind of starts where we were reading about, if you remember, like before spring training, those people you could read who were optimistic about the Giants because they sincerely believed that they were a more well-rounded team than you might think. And I think one of the particular things they pointed to was the Giants' power. And home run power as a tool is not... We're not just talking like so much about individual players in that sense. And I'll just give you one example here that it kind of relates to what I mean. You just take the Angels, for example. Does it bring more fans to the ballpark? I mean, just think about it. Shohei Ohtani's presence on the Angels roster, with all the home runs that he hits and the great pitcher that he is, just his presence on the roster, does that bring more fans to the ballpark? Does it make them come in greater numbers than would be the case if the Angels had exactly the same record every year without Ohtani? It absolutely does. And yet that can't be the ultimate goal a team has in mind. I mean, the Angels, they're not going anywhere in their division and winning championships, and I don't know their record this year, but so far it's just kind of been, these things really haven't been playoff appearances, even having Ohtani. Now, if you go back to the Giants' case, none of this is there to excuse them for not looking at just a huge name on the free agent market, but it's still the fact that they're pretty well-rounded. It at least gives them a realistic chance to compete with teams that are maybe not. So it's not about having what you think is superstar talent just for its own sake. It's what that's going to produce for the team, and I think the Giants have very well-rounded home run hitting ability, and they might have an all-star this year. I know I said something a few nights ago that maybe, but I mean, you look at what Conforto did tonight, and also J.D. Davis, the way he's swinging the bat, and it seems that the Giants should have at least one player who has at least a very decent shot of being selected to the All-Star game. I mean, that's just the way I think of it. But so far this season, that the Giants have disappointed us with the starting rotation, although I think that's getting better. Also, I would include the bullpen. An area where they've actually performed, I think, maybe better than we expected is at catcher, because we've been seeing Joey Bart, driving in runs, and Blake Sable, he had a hit today. It's not like the Giants are unable to get any production at at that spot. That's probably another area, and in the offseason, they could have signed Gary Sanchez to a major league deal. I actually had a report I needed to write for a class assignment where I was to pick a free agent and just basically say what kind of deal I thought he would get. And I picked Gary Sanchez, and obviously I explained his situation on the free agent market, and I predicted a 2-year, $8.5 million deal for him. And that was way off from the minor league deal that he actually got. Now, and I have to admit here that I was kind of in a hurry to get my assignment done, meeting a tight deadline. So that probably, when you're just under a lot of pressure like that, you're maybe not thinking straight as you maybe should be. But what ultimately happened to Gary Sanchez was that he was signed by the Giants on a minor league deal, and evidently I don't know where he is now. Maybe he's released. I don't know what's going on with him now. But evidently the Giants didn't find a serious use for him, and I think they're pretty good as far as their catching depth goes, and I mean, because we thought before it was going to be Joey Bard and Austin Wynns, but now it's Blake Sable, and he's got a .286 average. He did have a hit today, so it's not like Sable's production at the plate is really going anywhere right now. So I think that those things are areas where the Giants are squeezing out a lot, and obviously this just goes back to what I was talking about before with home run power. The Giants are definitely squeezing out a lot from that. That is what Michael Conforto did for them today. Now they're tied in their record. They've got a shot going forward, and it seems like they're really hot right now, and obviously the team it just needs to work together. And I mean, roster moves in the future. I did see something about Kyle Harrison maybe pretty soon, like getting a shot with the Giants. I'm just, with what I saw from him in spring training, I'm just not sure that I feel comfortable with him coming up and starting the game. Because it's not just, he's having issues in AAA too. He's striking out a lot of hitters. He's walking a lot of hitters too. I'm just, until I see a clearly solid Major League ready performance, I don't think I'm ready to have Harrison up and starting a game. In fact, I think that long relief should probably be his first role. And you could bring up the idea that it's just that he can't start immediately against the team's best hitters, and that's what the opener's for. I still think he'd be better suited, like, coming in for his first time in a situation where maybe it's not close. They're just trying to get some innings eaten. Unless there's already sufficient preparation to have bullpen day where Harrison can come in, and if he's not effective immediately, he goes out. That would occur if the Giants are potentially prepared from the start to have a bullpen day on the particular day that Harrison joins the big league roster. Now, you might say, like, it's just one game and you just try him out, like, but I, just with the fact that every game matters, and they're still going to lose some, but I'm not sure that we can afford to just run a test on a player who is maybe a little bit sketchy. Still, if Harrison could prove himself and join the rotation and be a solid piece this year, and I'm really not interested if he's not going to be consistently above average. I'm really not. But, I mean, unless, I want to be careful here. If he could maybe replace Ross Stripling and be average, I mean, that is a plus compared to what the Giants already have in Ross Stripling. So you think if that could at least save them some runs, it'd be a better option. Even if Harrison was slightly below average, if Stripling continued to maybe struggle like as much as he is, that might be a consideration. But I just don't know it's a good idea for the Giants to have a whole lot of extra hope pinned on Harrison right now. But he probably should get his opportunity if he's like physically ready and prepared for the majors, and at that point we can really just see how he does, and the Giants can kind of make their decisions going from there, and hopefully they make it right, because they don't always. Well, that's all for tonight, and hopefully the Giants will sweep the Twins. It's kind of looking that direction right now, and they look on track to have another winning week and get ahead in their record here. So thank you for watching. This has been Giants Baseball 101. Please subscribe if you haven't. Also, please leave your questions and comments. You know where to do it. I'll see you next time on Giants Baseball 101.